his parents are Christians. They go to church and stuff, and so did he eventually and stuff. And you know, they were like, "Hey, y'all need to come to church, you know, and thank God that y'all all live." And we're like, "Okay, yeah, we will, yes, ma'am," and none of us ever did. It just totally just blew it off. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Now if something like that happened, you know, I'm gonna drop down right there, put my hands up. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, Father.
Oh my gosh. Hey, okay. Here's testimony. In 2012, I believe, I was really young. I don't exactly remember how old I was, but anyway, my parents took me and my sister to go see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Do you know who that is? Mm-hmm. Yeah?
I mean, I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, dude, they do like crazy awesome concerts. Yeah. Anyway, so I went to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra with them, and we're going home afterwards, and it's super late. I say super late. The show probably started at 10, and so we were probably driving home at like 12:30. But we're driving home, and we'd gone with my mom's friend Wendy, who is a nurse, and like, you know, she's medically trained and stuff, and her boyfriend at the time, who's now her husband. But we're driving home, and we're just about to take our exit. It's like there's a bridge that goes over a big creek right before we get to our exit. So right after this bridge, we were going to exit and go home. Well, there's this red truck in front of us that when we get to this bridge, my dad's driving, and he says he just sees the taillights disappear. And he's like, what? You know, so he pulls over to the side of the road. He's like, I think they drove off the bridge. And so we pull over on the other side of the bridge, get out and look down, and there's like a bunch of smoke coming up, and they had ramped off of the bridge and landed right down in the middle of the creek bed. Now, his name is Justin, and her name is Amber.
Who are the people in the car?
Mm-hmm. So Justin had a really, really old truck, but he had borrowed his sister's truck, which is much newer, nicer, and has a much better safety system as well.
Right.
Than to go to this concert for that night. Well, Justin has a narcolepsy, and so he had fallen asleep at the wheel and drove off the side of the bridge, just barely missed the guardrail, drove off the side of the bridge going going very fast. I don't remember exactly what that was, but
1,000 miles an hour.
Anyway, he drives off the side of the bridge, and they go all the way down and land right in the bottom of the creek bed, and just like, it smashes their engine block into the cab. I mean, there was mud and water, and it smashed the dash into them. It broke both of her femurs. The impact of it hit so hard, it split her pants all the way up from the bottom all the way to the top. It split her pants. And yeah,
it broke her femurs?
It broke both of her femurs, and she had an internal decapitation. Okay, she was the 7th person ever recorded to survive this internal decapitation.
Oh my
That means that her spine was disconnected inside her neck, but her skin stayed attached and her spinal cord stayed attached.
So y'all got out and helped them, or what?
Well, we didn't touch them, because
you don't do that.
Yeah, whenever you witness something super bad like that, you're not supposed to touch them or move them, because if they have nerve damage and you move them, you can kill them.
Kill them, yeah.
And so my mom goes down there, and she said, so I'm, first off, I get out, and I'm on the side of the road, and I'm praying, I'm knees up, knees down, hands up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm praying. My dad calls the police.
Bro, when you said that, I heard this. I felt the spirit tell me that your prayers are what saved their life, bro.
I felt that, man.
Bro, I felt that
real.
just now. Like, I know I feel the spirit right now. Like,
Yeah, dude,
I'm
this
getting
is-
kind of used to it. Like, I know whenever my eyes start to water up and I feel this like overwhelming love. I know, I believe that.
Heck yeah, man.
That's awesome.
So-
Give me a hug, bro. I love that. I love Jesus, bro.
Dude, this was serious God appointment. So, my mom goes down there. She hears him breathing. Okay, she's not breathing. She hears him breathing. She's trying to call out to him. Eventually, he looks up, and my dad's like, "Do you know where you are? Can you tell me your name?" And he looks over at my dad, and then he turns over to Amber, which is his girlfriend at the time, and like he sees her, and his face is just like, he just looks dead ahead, and he doesn't say a word. He just stares. I mean, because he thought she was dead, you know, and so he thinks, I just got into a car accident, my girlfriend is dead, and now, like, you know what I mean? So like the thoughts going through his head must be crazy at that time. Anyway, he broke his collarbone and cracked some ribs, and he hit his face somewhere. He hit his face like on the steering wheel before the airbag deployed, I think. But he came out of it much better than her. But she was in a coma for 7 days, and she had to get a rod and a plate put into her neck to where it would allow her to like heal her spine, you know. And she wasn't really able to turn side to side, but she could nod. But so, man, after all those injuries, that they got care flighted out, and so they had actually gone to the same concert as us. We were both driving home from seeing the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and we had just followed them all the way, and then, you know, we were just about to exit, but we witnessed that and stopped and helped. But man, she was in a coma for 7 days. Anyway, she's the 7th person ever recorded. There's been an 8th since then, but she's the 7th person ever recorded to survive an internal decapitation. I don't know if you've ever watched NASCAR, but Dale Earnhardt, he died in a NASCAR accident, and he had an internal decapitation. That's actually what killed him. So she's the 7th person to survive, and years later, she's now she wrote a book. She's a special ed teacher, and she has had the rod and the plate removed from her neck, and she can like look all around like, dude, like she's made like full recovery, you know what I mean?
That's amazing.
Dude,
That's amazing.
yeah, man.
That's so cool.
The only thing that she still has as a reminder of that, I guess, is that she has a real light scar going across her forehead, because whenever they landed, she smashed her head off of the dash, because the dash came in and at the same time that they were impacting, you know, so she just like smashed her head on that dude. Like it looked bad.
That's amazing.
But man, whenever my mom went down there, like I said, she wasn't breathing. And so my mom starts to hear like somebody kind of making real short breaths, and she thought there was a baby in the back. And so she's freaking out like, oh my Lord, you know. But it was her trying to breathe, and she eventually like rolled her head to the side and she could breathe better. But like, man, it was a crazy night, man.
God,
Yeah,
bro.
but man, they
Fragile.
exactly. So, man, I went home that night, and you know, my parents were praying and thinking a lot and talking about it. I remember sitting on my stairs. We had a 2-story house back then. I remember sitting on the stairs, and I just looked at my parents, and I was like, they're gonna be okay, both of them. And my parents were like, well, you know, it looks real bad. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, like, I feel that. Like,
Yeah.
I've been praying. I know they're gonna be okay, and they were.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm glad I asked you.
That was
I'm
a-
gonna edit this thing up and put that on YouTube.